If that's any indication, we have one don't miss show today on The Express. On today's show, Cirque Du Soleil's Dralion in Abbotsford.
The creation director went to China and came back with 3,000 years of Chinese acrobatic tradition.
I love it.
Hair happily ever after.
Here we had a blast. We got to talk about boys. We looked at magazines. Totally. All the fun things that you do when you're a girl.
Tenor rehearsing with the Universal Gospel Choir.
How old are these guys?
They're about 10 weeks old.
And still up for adoption?
The Penny Foundation for Dogs.
But Jill still needs to find her forever home.
See that and more. Local expression. Welcome to The Express. I'm Johanna Ward in Abbotsford for Cirque du Soleil's new arena show, Dralion. Now, this show draws from Eastern philosophy and the quest for harmony between humans and nature. And we're going to show you the spectacle coming up after we showcase one woman's personal quest for harmony between humans and hounds.
Hi, Jamie. Hey, Alexis, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
How's Jack doing?
Oh, he's doing pretty good.
2-year-old Jack is a rescue, and he's living in a foster home with his foster mom, Jamie.
He had a lot of issues learning to walk on his leash, but now he loves it. He loves to go for runs.
180-degree change. It's been about 4.5 months she's worked with him. That's what he needed. He needed someone to be there for him and to give him the training and leadership that he needed.
With Jamie's help, Jack has come a long way, and he's now looking for a permanent home.
He's going to be a great running buddy for somebody, someone who has an active lifestyle.
Jack's journey started with the Penny Foundation Dog Rescue Society run by Alexis Adams.
It really started when I was traveling in the U.S. and saw a bunch of dogs in overcrowded shelters that we wouldn't necessarily find here in Vancouver.
So Alexis started the Penny Foundation to bring unwanted dogs from BC and across the world to Vancouver. These puppies are from Mexico.
Well, Francis and Jill came from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. We partner with the SPCA down there. Whenever they get dogs in that would be more appropriate up here in Vancouver, so people that live in apartments and may have size or breed restrictions, we're able to bring them up here and adopt them out.
Okay, so I'm holding Francis and you've got Jill. How old are these guys?
They're about 10 weeks old.
And still up for adoption?
Francis has a pending adoption, but Jill still needs to find her forever home.
The Penny Foundation relies on volunteers to help transport the unwanted dogs to Vancouver.
Volunteers in Los Angeles and actually in Mexico and Taiwan fly them over, and we meet them at the airport, and then they go into foster homes.
You don't need money, just time to become a foster parent to these dogs.
When someone fosters a dog, we cover all dog food, collars, leashes, crates if needed, and any vet care.
So what we have to do is provide the love and all the fun part like that.
Jamie says she'll be sad to see Jack go.
We don't like to think about that part.
But it'll free up space for another dog to be rescued. A pretty amazing operation, especially when you consider Alexis does this for free, in addition to her regular job.
What keeps me motivated is seeing the dogs go to their homes and getting updates over the years and how well the dogs are doing.
If all goes well, Jack and Jill will soon be added to a growing list of successful adoptions, thanks to the Penny Foundation. I'm Bianca Solterbeck in Vancouver for The Express. If you'd like to adopt Jack or Jill, you can go to the website penniesfordogs.org. And now on The Express, it's time to showcase two different creatures, the dragon and the lion, and they're coming together for Cirque du Soleil's newest arena show, Dralion, the one that's showing for the first time in Abbotsford.
One of the amazing things about Cirque du Soleil is every time we come out with a new show, we come out with something completely different.
Know what I can do?
You can
see what I can do? How about...
Yeah, like that.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think I'm hired. Not hired. Kick me off the trampoline.
With this show, the creation director went to China and came back with 3,000 years of Chinese acrobatic tradition and fused that with our very special Cirque du Soleil way of doing things and made the beautiful show Dralion. I'm going to gently put it down.
Oh, wow. And then I can make it
disappeared inside the Dralion.
Yeah. This is heavy.
Yeah, it's very heavy. So you imagine doing acrobatics with that. The stage, the look, the acrobatics, the costumes, right down to the makeup and every single little detail. There's a lot of wow in this show.
Dralion is showing here at the Abbotsford Entertainment and Sports Centre through to June 5th. And don't you think the costumes are amazing? But you know what? You can't discount the power of a good pair of pants. And I'm being serious because in this next story you'll see how a pair of pants saved a man's life.
And all it is a little pin. And I guess when I left the dock in Sydney, when I went, I heard the click, but it didn't actually click all the way through.
It was a small detail, but a malfunctioning pelican clip nearly cost David Zaharik his life 7 years ago when he fell overboard.
Was flapping my sheet out. I leaned on here, the pelican clasp opened, and the line flew back, and I buckled my knees, let go of the sheet, and I just sort of was doing this until finally I lost my balance. And I was trying to grab, there's a bar here, and I was trying to grab this. I did grab the pipe here, but my hand was wet. And as I spun, I couldn't hang on, and over I went.
David was crossing solo from Sydney to the mainland when he found himself all alone in the Georgia Strait without a life jacket.
And of course, by the time I came to surface, my boat, Esperance, was long gone.
Dale Miller of the LifeSaving Society has heard this type of story too many times before.
Typically in BC, we see 80 to 100 drownings in BC alone, and of those, about 40% are boat-related. Unfortunately, most people have the attitude that it won't happen to me. Then when it does, a lot of times they're just not prepared.
Luckily, David was an airline pilot and former lifeguard with swimming and survival training. He credits his training with saving his life.
What I learned was how to use your clothing as a flotation device. I removed my pants and I tied knots in the ankles, did the zipper up, and then I hoofed them over my head.
He got his training years ago, and one of the big things back then was being able to go into the water fully clothed, and as often happens, and being able to use the clothing as rescue aids. It seems simple, but luckily in David's case, he remembered it from years ago, and it probably saved his life.
David swam for 4 hours and 5 miles to get to Main Island. His inflated pants kept him out of the water enough that he didn't die from his hypothermia.
I remember distinctly while I was swimming, while I was actually using it, my mind went back to having a man, can I say his name? Tom Smith was my coach from the YMCA, standing on the diving board, looking down at me, yelling, saying, "Come on, Zaharik, one day this will save your life." And this was the day, because I was without that training, there is no possible way I would have survived that swim.
What we're looking for is to get the training out there and be able to hopefully save lives.
Learn to swim. Number one, learn to swim, get some training, and Rural Lifesaving is the best out there as far as I know. And if you're boating, wear a life jacket. I do not leave the dock without a life jacket now.
I'm Erin Shaw in North Vancouver for The Express.
Funding for this segment brought to you in part by Mustang Survival.
The LifeSaving Society has been around for over 100 years, teaching people how to save others, or in the case of David, themselves from drowning. You're watching The Express, and we have these exciting stories coming up.
Why don't you just have a little peek through there? Hair menu.
After the break, hair happily ever afters at Blow Blow Dry Bar.
You just can never quite do your hair as well as someone else can do it.
Absolutely not.
Okay, ready?
Ready?
My version of the pas de deux at Cirque in Abbotsford.
Oh, yeah. You see? You see? You're doing it.
Oh my goodness.
You're watching local TV on The Express.
Community
TV programming on Shaw has been generously sponsored in part by...
The Express is brought to you in part by Plum, fashion supplier to host Johanna Ward.